Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today it's the Kennedy half from 1966. We see the front and back of it right here. We see something up there, a kind of shiny looking 66. And then we see another $50 over here with a Liberty Bell on the back. And we'll talk about all four of these, but let's start with the Kennedy. They made 109 million what they call regular strikes of these Kennedy halves. And of those 109 million, they found one so far that's a mint state 68, and that sells for $15,000. The Kennedy half first came out in 1964. 90% silver, came out the year after President Kennedy was assassinated. In 1964, replaced the Franklin half. And here's a Franklin half from 1963. The Ben Franklin halves lasted from 1948 until 1963. President Kennedy died and they wanted to get President Kennedy on a coin. In 1964, they replaced this with the Kennedy half. It's essentially the same exact half, but the 1964 version of the Kennedy half was 90% silver, but that only lasted for 1 year. In 1965, they moved it to a 40% silver half, and they kept that 40% silver until 1970. So when we turn this up on its side, we see that it looks very silver. It's only 40% silver, but that's still worth a few bucks just in silver bullion value alone. One of the things you never have to do on a Kennedy half is look for the mint marks if you're looking at 1965, 1966, or 1967. Because those were the no mint mark years from the United States Mint. We have the front here, and it has President Kennedy. It says Liberty up around the top. This is 1966 here. In God in front of Kennedy, We Trust behind Kennedy. The front of the Kennedy half was engraved by Gilroy Roberts, and you see the intertwined G and the R here. What Gilroy Roberts did when he used that technique from the Mercury dime was it made it look like Kennedy is kind of three-dimensional or larger than life here. His head's actually coming right off of the coin if you look at it, and it kind of sticks out. And some of you look at this Liberty going around the top and say, that looks familiar, and what's it doing in his hair? Well, here's another one. The Mercury dimes had the same kind of thing. Notice how the E gets stuck in the Phrygian cap of Mercury. And notice how the R is in the cap, the T is out. The B doesn't touch where it does in the Kennedy, but the E and the R are both kind of stuck in the Phrygian cap that Lady Liberty wears in this Mercury dime. In terms of an effigy, that's a pretty cool way to do it, to make Kennedy look like he supersedes or comes right off the coin. 1966 here, again, we don't need to look for a mint mark. If we tip it over on the edge, it has the reeded rim on the edge, and then we get over onto the back, we see it says United States of America around the top. There are 9 stars here below these bubbles. It says E pluribus unum, 4 more stars down here next to the head of the eagle, and the eagle's holding an olive branch and some arrows, and it's a shielded eagle, and 50 stars around the outside here, and at the very bottom it says $50. So this 50 cents coin was made at the Philadelphia, the Denver, and the San Francisco mints, but we don't know which mint this coin was made at. They did make it in a different way, however, and that is the famous SMS. In 1965, they decided no more mint sets, no more proof sets. But then halfway through 1965, they said, the collectors want something. And so what they did in 1966, they started making what they call special mint sets, or SMS version. 1966, they made the 1965's SMS versions and started selling them. And they also made the 1966 SMS versions. And this is pretty close to a cameo. What we know about the special mint state versions is that they are all highly, highly polished. And you almost never get a cameo, but you kind of have one here, don't you? This one, Kennedy is really jumping off the coin. When you have a cameo for a special mint set 1966, make sure you take a good look at it because it could be worth something. They have found 7 special mint set SPs, they call them SP68s, that are worth $7,000 because they're essentially pretty close to a deep cameo. You also want to take a look at the special mint set coins. 9 major varieties. They have the plain one, the cameo, the deep cameo, and then they have this thing called the no FG. And some of the special mint set coins, right here where Frank Gasparo's initials are on the back, don't have any letters. Some grease or something got in there. When they went to stamp it, it just didn't stamp, and so there's no FG. You see, if you can get the no FG varieties, you could be talking about hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So you look right underneath there and see if there's an F and a G. Now, if we look on our other one, we're definitely going to see the F and a G because the no FG variety only applies to the special mint sets. So how else did they have it? Well, they had the no FG regular, the no FG cameo, the no FG deep cameo, and then they had 12 double die obverse varieties, including double die obverse cameos and double die obverse deep cameos. And if we look at this one, we're not seeing any doubling on this one right here. Seeing kind of a little funny on the B there, but nothing that's going to make us any big bucks on this one. So this is a really beautiful coin, probably worth, in this shape right here, $5 to $7. We're not going to spend 30 bucks or 40 bucks to get it graded to find out it's worth $5 to $7. So if you get one of these, the best way to get one in this shape is to buy one of the special mint sets. I think you can get them for under $13. They have probably $5 or $6 worth of silver alone in them, so they're worth that just in bullion value. If you can get a regularly minted or regular strike one of the Kennedy half, and it's in a mint state 67 or 68, you could also be talking about the thousands of dollars. That's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the comments section.